All right, this is how to play Trekking the World on Board Game Arena. And this is a game where we are all travelers of the world, visiting the various regions that you see here, taking tours, collecting souvenirs, and getting lots of points. So there are 6 different regions in the world. You can see them by their colors here. And each of them have a main airport. And at the very beginning, everybody has to choose an airport to fly to. You can't choose an airport that someone else has gone to. And so before we see a lot of the other stuff that comes through, we're going to pick airports and then everything else will fill in. So I picked Europe, and my opponent picked South America. All right, so now we have several things that we can look at here. So the main way to earn points are by going on these tours. And these tours you go on by visiting this spot in the world. So Mount Fuji is way over here. And then also paying these color of cards. So this requires 2 green cards. This requires a blue and a green, a red and green. Some will require 3 cards. And when you're paying for those cards, the number on the card does not matter. You'll also notice that now after we started, there are several cubes on a lot of the different city or sites that you can visit, and there are 4 different colors: yellow, blue, red, and white. Those are the different types of souvenirs that you can collect. As you collect those souvenirs, the second souvenir of a color that you get, the first one to get 2 of a certain color, gets a souvenir tile, which gives you points at the end of the game. Different amounts of points based on the different colors. And then other people can get that same souvenir tile if they have strictly more than you of that color. So if you're the first one to get to 2, an opponent would have to have 3 while you still have 2 souvenirs of that color to take the souvenir tile away from you and take those points away from you. Also, when all of the cubes from a specific region are collected, then the last person to take a cube from that region gets one of these region bonuses. There's a number of points underneath that. It's usually 5 or 6, maybe it could be less as well or more. I don't remember exactly the point spread on those. And so those are the main ways to get points. You visit these tours, these places, and you get the points on there. If you visit the places on these 2, you get bonuses. This one has a 5-point bonus, and this one has a 3-point bonus. You get points for having the most souvenirs. Also, if you notice on the souvenir tag, if you have all of the souvenirs, one of each of the columns, you get that number at the bottom. So the first 3 columns, if you get everything in the first column, it's 3 points, then 6, then 10. I think that changes depending on the number of players. And this is a 2-player game. Also, some of these spots will be covered in 3- and 4-player games with cubes. Those are the ways that you earn points. So what do you do on a turn? Well, the first thing you have to do is move. Now, if you're on an airport, before you even do that, you can fly to another airport for free. That doesn't take up any movement cost or anything else. But each turn, if you have any cards in your hand, you will have to use 1 or more of those cards to move a certain number of spaces. And so you can first choose where to move, and then it will tell you how much you have to pay. And the BGA implementation does it really nice. You pick the spot and it tells you how many points you need to put to move to that spot, whether it's in different ways around it. So I wanted to move to the Acropolis of Athens here, and so it says I need to give Trek cards for a total value of 2 or 3, because I could go here 1, 2, or I could go 1, 2, 3. A couple rules about movement. You cannot backtrack. You cannot use the same route twice in a single movement. And if somebody is blocking your way, you cannot go through them. So if I were here on on this spot here and I wanted to go through the airport here to get to Machu Picchu, I could not do that. I would have to go around. They blocked that entire route. So when, this is a two-player game, but in a four-player game, it does tend to get crowded and you can really block people from where they need to go. So I need to pay a value of 2 or 3. The colors in this case don't matter. It's just the number of cards. And so I could either pay just this 2 card, the green 2, or I can play a combination of 1 and 2 to get it in three spaces. I, I think I actually ended up using my 2 1 cards. I don't recall why I was doing that. Maybe I wanted to save the... Oh, that's right. My first goal was to get here to Cappadocia. I thought I could get there and have a green and a red, right? So I got the green. So I didn't want to use up the green in my journey or in my move action. I wanted to save it so I could pay for it when I get there. All right, so the first action is to move. You always move if you have a card. If you don't have any cards, you can't move, so you just skip that part. The second action is a choice. You can either draw 2 cards, take a tour, or do one of these special journey actions. So taking 2 cards is similar to how you would take 2 cards in Ticket to Ride. You can choose one that's visible, or you can take one off the top of the deck. As soon as you choose one that's visible, it'll refill with another. So you may want to take one and see what shows up, and then take the other, or just line draw, however you want to do that. That's pretty standard. Take 2 cards. Second, if you've landed on one of these 4 places to take a tour, you can fill those requirements for that tour and get the points for that. You can also, though, as soon as those have been used up, they flip over, and you can see it'll even give you the hint of what's next coming through. It doesn't tell you the requirements, but it says the next one is going to be Sagrada Familia in this case. And then the third thing you can do is one of these special actions. Now, each of these journeys requires 2 cards of the same color. Doesn't matter what color, they just have to be 2 colors. And then it gives you a special action. In this case, if you're on a route or on a spot that you want to take a tour, it removes one of the requirements. Again, you have to pay the 2 cards that are the same color to do that, but maybe you just can't get that color that you need to fill that one requirement. Well, instead you pay 2 of the same card, and you can do it for 1 less in this case. Now these journeys will change each round, each game. They will be the same for the whole game, so you can use either one of these for the game, but each game will be could be slightly different journeys that are available. And so in this case, you take it for 1 fewer icon, and then you can transport to any airport in the world that's not occupied. This one lets you move up to 4 and then draw 2 cards from the deck. So it's kind of a little bonus move there. And that's it. You just go around, try to fill those requirements, get more and more cards. Every once in a while, when you want to take a journey, do that. And the game ends when either someone has collected 5 tour cards, 5 of these up here, or 5 of the 6 region bonuses have been taken. Remember, these region bonuses are taken when all of the cubes on that region are taken off. So let's skip ahead a little bit. Okay, here we are kind of in the middle of the game. You can see a few things. I've been collecting souvenirs. I've been able to get a majority for the blues and the whites, where my opponent has gotten the yellows and the reds. But if I end up getting 3 yellows, for example, while they still only have 2, then I could steal that yellow card that they have, the tile card there. You can see I have earned 1 at Cappadocia that I was going for at the beginning, and they have earned 2. Just wanted to show there's running point totals as well that are going on, and the here's some of the extra point values that I've been able to get, and we've been able to get through these extra tours. So what I'm trying to do in this turn is go to Mount Fuji, which gives me a bonus, and it requires 2 green. I only have 1 green, so I'm going to use this journey, turn in 2 of these yellow cards, and be able to do that without needing both of those, only needing one less icon needed for the value. So you can see I pay 1 to move and I get a yellow cube there. But notice that was the last cube in the whole yellow region. So that gave me this map bonus, and you can see it up here. It gave me, it's hard to read, but this one gave me 6 points, which I think is on the higher end. So in my next option, instead of drawing cards or taking a tour, because I don't have 2 greens, I only have 1 green, I'm going to use the journey card here. So I use those 2 yellows to trigger journey A here. Buy Mount Fuji for only 1 green instead of 2 green. All the other cards slide down. I get the extra 5 point bonus here, and then I get to move to any airport. So I jump down to Australia because I saw that Great Barrier Reef one that looks pretty enticing. I wanted to try to get that. Ended up not working out. I'm not going to go through any more of the game, but because I think that covers basically everything. It's fairly simple, but you do have to kind of plan ahead and see what cards you have and where you can go. There are lots of different connections between the different continents. There's connections between over the oceans as well here. Just remember that if you're on an airport at the beginning of your turn, you can go to any other airport. You can block people. You are racing for those different souvenirs. And eventually you're just trying to get to the right spots at the right time. I think this game ended first with us both trying to get to this Fisherman's Bastion at the same time, because we both had 4 tour cards. I ended up getting there first and getting that 5th one and ending the game, but it was pretty close up to that point. Alright, hope this is helpful. Thanks.